Hey everyone, James Pelton here today. Happy Friday. You made it through another week. Congratulations. And what a better way to spend the end of your week than with James Pelton and Tyler from AlphaShares on an AMA. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited because, okay, two things I really like. Well, you know, you guys know I love Jesus, but I love AI and I love crypto. Okay, those are two things that I love. And so when I see those two things coming together, it makes me a little excited, and I want to hear, hey, what's up with this? What's going on? And whenever I'm wanting to learn about something, really the best way to do it is bring someone who knows about it on and do an AMA. So that's what we're doing here today, Tyler. We want to learn about Colossus, what they're doing, what AI, what are they doing? How does this relate to crypto? And most importantly, how can my audience make money from it? That's what we're really here to talk about today. Appreciate you guys in the audience. Please hit like. The currency of YouTubers, somewhat USDT, but I will just take likes from you. If you have any questions or anything, please ask, and we will direct the conversation in that way. Already got a lot of people excited here. Dallas, good to see you. MRK, good to see you. Randy, always a pleasure, brother. Glad that you could be here. Jonathan, Viper, Randy, a different Randy, Kat. We got a lot of people here. This seems like a very excited community. So I always like to see that doing videos. So Tyler, let's start out with some questions. First off, why are you here? So we've had you on the channel many times for AlphaShares and what they're all doing. Now we're having you on for Colossus. So can you kind of, first off, maybe slight introduction of yourself, not too long because we already know all about you, but and then tell us what's the relationship between Colossus and AlphaShares. We'll kick off that way.
Cool. Yeah. Well, first, I mean, if I ever get a chance to come on the stage with you, James, and be on your show, I'm going to have to take it. So I told the founder of Colossus, Carrie, and I said, dude, I'm not letting you up there, man. This is my stage. This is my time to shine. No, right. Not actually, though, right. But it's always exciting to be up here with you. And who I am, of course, as you said, my name's Tyler. My, username on the Web3 side of things is sub.eth. And I'm the co-founder of AlphaShares, as well as Momentum, which Momentum is really just a component of the AlphaShares brand, the DeFi side of it. We launched a token in October of 2022, and it did really well, and it grew that DeFi arm of our brand. And so the reason why I'm here today is because Colossus is actually the first Launchpad client of Momentum. And so we designed a lot of the protocol, was off of the original design of the Momentum project and the mass token. And so since we're extremely versed on how it works, we did the design again for the contracts, the solidity, the smart contracts, and we also did the marketing, and we helped out the team a ton to get this off the ground. And so we're super proud of where it is now. I got the chart up in front of me, and we are up here on the stage today to talk a little bit more about it. And of course, I love being up on the stage. I told Carrie, hey, I'll take this for you. He actually doesn't even have right now where he's at. His internet went out at his normal house. So he brought his laptop, he ran over, and the laptop on the camera on his laptop doesn't even work. So he could have popped up here, no camera, just vocal. He's not even doxed yet either. So, this would have been the first dox if he did it. I'm sure he'll be up on a future show with us. But for now, I'm taking care of it. He's on a Twitter space, I think, right now. He's handling. We're all, the whole team is running in parallel, doing our best to push this out here and have a good time. So happy to talk more about it, man.
Awesome. So Colossus was a part of the Momentum Launchpad. And so that's kind of the relationship there. Before we get into Colossus, well, no, let's talk about Colossus first. I want to talk about how does Colossus affect, I know there's a lot of people in my community who are part of Momentum, part of AlphaShares, and so how those relate. But let's talk about Colossus first. I kind of want to know what this is. So I'm going to bring up the website here. But what's kind of the elevator pitch for what Colossus is looking to do?
Well, really, one of the things that I always like to say about, giving the origin of this, and one of the biggest, pieces of excitement that we want this project to bring is bringing back the good old days of DeFi. A lot of us started in the space in 2021, 2022 during the last bull run, and we all had a ton of fun with projects like Olympus DAO, Time Wonderland, Galaxy Goggles, Tomb Finance. And so this is really a fresh protocol that from those days, we designed the Momentum project and the mass token, and we realized that it's such a good model. And there were some issues with it. And of course, we'll probably hop into that too. What makes Colossus here different than Momentum, because there are quite a few differences. But the core functionality of what it is, a token that's stabilized at a certain rate. So with this token and with Mass, it was going up 1% per day. Mass started at $1, it went up 1% per day, and it did extremely well. And with Colossus here, it's starting at $100, and right now it's sitting at 112. And that's because we are exactly 2 weeks and 1 day, 15 days away from the launch. First couple of days of launch, things were stabilized out. We were, feeding liquidity, but since after the second day, I believe it's been going up 1% per day ever since. So it's at $1.12 or $112 now. So it's really at its core bringing back DeFi, having a lot of fun. It's a tax token. We can get into the tokenomics in a second, but it's a tax token with the whole concept being purchase a bag. Your bag's going to go up 1% per day in terms of the price of the token. And during that, you will earn USDC passive income reflections based off the balance you hold. So like the good old days of reflection tokens combined a bit with rebase tokens, because rebase tokens are very similar. They go up, a percentage every single day by minting new tokens and adding them to your wallet. So that doesn't really happen, but the token price itself increases in value. So we can go much further into this, but I'll let you kind of run the questions so I don't blabber the whole time. But yeah, really, we want this to bring back a really fun time. And there is real utility that comes later, and we'll get into that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love to talk about that. I was hoping you just monologue for an hour and then I could just kind of sit back. But no, I do have kind of some specific questions, just want to kind of dive into a little bit. So first off, you mentioned, getting back to we all miss DeFi. But again, the reason that we miss DeFi is because everything that was in DeFi fell apart. And so do you want to kind of talk about the mechanics? We don't have to get too technical in it, but the mechanics behind how can a token only go up? How are we not going to see, even the number 1% is like some PTSD. I have to kind of like take some breaths, whatever, we'll be okay. But do you want to talk through kind of the mechanics and how this works?
Sure. So, 1% per day and saying that if you're saying that it's going to go on forever, it obviously needs some sort of real utility or real value creation to keep that going forever. DeFi protocols as a whole, as we know, especially from the last bull run, they're highly dependent on new people. And that is one of the initial aspects of every DeFi protocol. And really any product or service for that matter, you need a constant flow of customers. And so for any DeFi protocol, it's dependent on new people entering the protocol, at least in the very beginning. And so Colossus is no different. It is something that's going to grow from new people buying in. The tokenomics and the way that it's structured is there's a 10% buy tax, a 15% sell tax. And so these taxes are what feed the rewards for the system and lock value in the system to be able to provide this gain every day. But the way that it does it is, let's reframe the mind of someone listening. If you asked your buddy, hey, do you think that this meme token can go up 30% in this next month? You'd probably be like, of course, 30% in a month? That's nothing. But that's the equivalent of 1% per day, minus, of course, the compounding side of it. But even if you add compounding in there and you say, oh, can it go up 38% this month? Of course, it can go up 38%. So what this token does is it's manipulated, or rather constrained, I should say, with a system, a liquidity management system, where when someone buys in, rather than the chart showing the price shoot up, it actually sells it back down and takes the additional profit that would have put it beyond where the price should be, where it's being designed to be, and puts it into liquidity. So it favors deep liquidity over price action. And what that means is that rather than allowing within the first, now we're 2 weeks and 1 day in, rather than it going up, 100x, it's only gone up 12%. But it has had enough volume of transactions to go up 100x, but we're basically spreading that out over time. So we're allowing it to be stable. We're allowing it to be constrained by having very, very deep liquidity. And one of the mechanisms for that is something called bonding, where you can actually avoid that 10% buy tax by bonding into the token, basically purchasing the tokens over time. So you can do a 10-day bond by default. You basically buy your tokens, you avoid that 10% buy tax, and it gets vested over 10 days. So a lot of DeFi, and especially this, is it's a very intricate design. You have to design using a lot of mathematics and assumptions around what's the protocol going to do, how many people in the beginning are going to get active in the protocol to kind of decide, okay, how long will this system hold up on its own? But of course, as I mentioned in the beginning, the real goal, I think, for every project is to bring real value, real utility. And so we'll get into that. The focus right now really is fun and DeFi. But of course, with the state of the market, people are asking, well, how do you keep this going? Is it going to go up 1% per day for a whole year? And if it does, how do you do that? So we'll get into that in a second. But this is really the nitty gritty part of it for now.
Okay, I like that. I like that you switched it from manipulated to constrained. Manipulated sounds like a worse word that we wouldn't want as much, even though it means the same thing. So,
Yeah.
like that. Now that makes sense. So from my audience's perspective, though, the ways to make money from this would be just buy it and hold it. Is that the best way? And then do you want to talk a little bit about bonding? What are the different ways that my audience could get involved? Let's talk that.
Perfect. No, that's a great question because there is a lot of design here that kind of feeds into gamification for the protocol. So there's two ways to enter. You can buy or you can bond. And the buying on the chart does incur that 10% buy tax. And so if you were to spend $100, you'd only get $90 worth of tokens by buying. So why would you buy versus bond? If you can bond and avoid that 10% tax, then what's the purpose of buying at all? And it's a great question. And the reason is because you only accrue those dividends, those USDC dividends, which come from taxes on trading volume. So as people buy and sell, taxes are taken, those taxes get converted into USDC, and that USDC is then reflected like a good old reflection token across the holders. So you have to hold the tokens in your wallet to earn those reflections, and it's all proportional. So if you hold in your wallet 1% of the total outstanding tokens, well, you'd get 1% of those reflections. So if you bond into the protocol, you're avoiding the 10% buy tax, but you're not getting all the tokens immediately. You don't get them in total until 10 days go by. So you're basically saying, I will take this 10% discount, basically giving yourself 10% more tokens than if you bought on the chart. A bond also gives you a 5% bonus on tokens. So that's another benefit. You forego the 10% tax and you get 5% bonus on tokens. And you're playing the game of, is that 15% gain going to make me more by bonding? Or if I bought the chart and the USD reflections that I earn, I might earn enough passive USDC from just holding that 90% bag that makes me in the end, after 10 days, if you were to compare the two strategies, you never know which one's going to make more. And so that's why a lot of people are going halvesies on each. The reflections are completely dependent on trading activity. So the more people are buying and selling and the more taxes are being taken and being fed back to rewards, well, sometimes just holding your bag is going to earn you more money than getting the discount on bonds. So I know that can kind of be confusing. I hope that made sense there. But that gamification was something that was in play with the Momentum project back in October of 2022. And it proved to be a super fun time. It was something that our co-founder and lead developer, he designed this in his head. And we were like, this is such a great idea. It's gamification, but it has a purpose too. And the bonding purpose is 75% of your bond goes straight into liquidity. That's something that can't happen if they buy on the chart. If someone takes a $100 buy and buys on the chart, you're never going to get $100 or even $75 into the LP. But if someone bonds, then 75 to 80% of their bond goes straight to the LP, which really helps make it very healthy, which right now the LP and the market cap, liquidity and the market cap are exactly the same.
Okay. No, that made a lot of sense. Audience, let me know if you have questions or you want further clarification on that. So there's a little bit of game theory here. There's kind of the more like, you know exactly how it's going to work. You're going to get this tax and then it's going to go up 1% a day. It's more certain. And then there's one where it's going to just be dependent, where, you know, if there's a James Pelton AMA coming up, the bonding might be better because there might be a lot more trading going on if there's big marketing pushes or things like that. So there's a little bit of game theory going on there. So Kevin B says, yeah, sounds a little confusing so far. So maybe we got the two options. You just have buying and holding and bonding, correct? Those are the two options. So if you're really confused, then maybe you just do the buying, okay? And you don't worry about the bonding, but it's basically you buy it like you normally would. There's a tax for buying it, then you hold it, and it's going to go up 1% a day. The bonding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler, because I, just repeating it back. That's how you understood someone. You repeat it back in your own words. That's a
Yep.
marriage tip, by the way, guys. But bonding is there's not the initial tax, so you get to skip that. But then the return you're getting is based on the volume, the buy and sell volume. So you're not sure exactly what you're going to end up getting. So hopefully that makes sense.
Well, to give a little correction there, it's really
Yes,
the
please
bonding.
do.
You do know how many tokens you're going to get because you're going to get the amount of tokens you purchase, but it's the rewards. You don't know how many rewards you're going to get because if you hold 1 token in your wallet and someone holds 10 tokens in their wallet, the person with 10 tokens in their wallet will earn 10 times the amount of USDC reflections from trading activity than the person with 1. So if you bond, your bond only gets vested over 10 days and you can claim every day if you want, but you're not going to get, let's say you bought 10 tokens or bonded 10 tokens. If you bought the 10 tokens, you'd receive 9 right away. And you'd be earning the dividends on those 9 because that's what it's dependent on, how many you hold in your wallet. When you bond, you're not going to get those 10 tokens until the 10th day. You could claim 1 a day for sure, but you're only going to earn the reflections based off what's in your wallet. So if it takes 10 days for you to get all those tokens in your wallet, you're basically foregoing your share of dividends from trading activity because it's vesting over time for the benefit of avoiding that 10% buy tax and getting 5% more tokens. But if you wanted to not avoid it and you wanted to get hit with it, you'd have your 90% of tokens, which the reflections you earn from having them in your wallet very well might be more than if you avoided the 10% by bonding. And I know it gets confusing, doesn't it?
No,
But
that makes
this
sense.
is the
That
point.
makes sense.
We want it to be intricate though, because people get to really dive deep into the docs. They get to try out bonding, try out purchasing. And because the protocol is not highly dependent on getting in super, super early, because the token's not going to shoot up 1,000x, right? People have the time to try out which one they think works best.
Okay. And that's a really good point. So most projects that I have on here, me and whoever is talking about it are like, you want to get in early. Early is where the benefit is. It's the most risk, but it's also the most reward if you get in early. But this is not like that because if there is a big shoot up, then those extra funds go into the liquidity, like you were saying, and the token only appreciates that same 1% a day, regardless of how many people buy. So no, that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
So Kevin, does that make sense for you? Yeah, he says the 10% tax sounds better. Yeah, so it's going to probably vary person to person, and like you said, some people are doing half and half. So a little bit of game theory there. Yeah, absolutely. Question from the audience: how do we get a mustache like Tyler? That does not have to do with Colossus, but I did say it's Ask Me Anything.
Yeah, you just gotta let it grow out, man. Just
let it
you gotta
grow.
act like a homeless person. Yep.
Okay. Do you use any mustache oil or conditioner or
I
anything
don't.
like that?
I've been thinking about it. There's some patchy areas in some spots, and so I maybe get a little roller on there, some mustache oil,
There
try
you
to get
go.
it to
There
grow a
you
bit
go.
better.
We expect
Yeah.
next time, get rid of those patches. All right.
Exactly.
Randy says just now claimed some tokens from my bond. So amazing. Got some people from the community that are in. What is a high yield bond and how many chains can I bond on?
Great question. So the high yield bond just got announced yesterday, if I recall correctly. I saw the announcement go out, super exciting. And so what that is it's going to be add a bit more gamification. And so I think, the team has their own methods of when and why they release these bonds. I do think it might have to play into also what marketing's coming up, get people in early, make sure that they're active so that when a video like this drops, people have their bag. But I also think it's some gamification where every once in a while, they're going to get people on their toes. It's a bit of marketing. We can pay for marketing, externally, or we can invest into our community and, spend the same amount of dollars by giving people, more money on top of their bag or giving them further discounts. It's in the end, it's the same thing. And sometimes we think rewarding the community of buyers actually has a better marketing effect than going out and doing traditional marketing. So I think the high yield bond is a factor of both. Right now, I think the high yield bond is twice the bonus. So the normal bond bonus is 5% on top of your token purchase. With the high yield bond, I think it's only running for 48 hours and it's 10% extra tokens. So really helps out with the profitability factor after your bond period is up. Well, for one, you're getting 10% extra tokens, you're avoiding the 10% buy tax, and you're getting that over 10 days, which over the 10 days, your tokens will appreciate about 10%. So what that looks like, I think, is about a 30% increase over what you paid. And then the moment that period's over, you should be in profit. So it's really exciting.
Okay.
If anyone hasn't gotten in and they're on the fence, this is the time, I think.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see. We got Randy, marriage advice and DeFi. Let's go. Yeah, absolutely. You never know what you're gonna get on the James Pelton AMA. What I want everybody in the audience to do, if you have a spouse or a significant other, pick up your phone right now, text them, "I love you and appreciate you." There you go. There's some.
Should I do that too?
You should. You should do it. Do it real quick while I bring up my next question.
She's right down there. I could just go yell.
Just yell it. Just yell it. I love you.
I love you, babe. Yeah,
there we go.
She's gonna come running up here now and be like, "What's going on?
Is everything going on?" Let's see. Bond is easy. You can claim multiple times a day instead of a lockup. So yeah, thank you, Randy, for that. Yes, this was a question, Tyler. We talked about this beforehand. Does Colossus benefit other AlphaShare projects like AMCR? So we've had you on a lot of times to talk about a lot of different things. We had you on it for AlphaShares a lot. Even back in the good old days when that was just a reflection token, just first starting out. And then
that was our first video together, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. So how does Colossus fit into the ecosystem? How does that benefit alpha holders, momentum holders, or what's kind of the how does that all fit together?
Yeah, so it does in a way. And so what we're doing and what we're building with the AlphaShares brand and the Momentum brand is we've now built out 2 Launchpads. And so we're very well siloing these out. This is where I love talking about this because this is my bread and butter. You know, Colossus is a Launchpad client of ours. So much fun, really cool idea. But this is really where, you know, I get excited. You know, how does this benefit the further ecosystem? So AlphaShares as a brand focuses on NFTs. Tori just texted me, "Did you yell something?" Because she heard me yell.
There you go.
But what AlphaShares is it's a brand focused around NFTs. We have the AlphaShares marketplace. We've launched multiple NFTs underneath that brand, and it tokenizes ownership in certain things. The Alpha Pack tokenizes ownership in the marketplace. Alpha Mining Co. tokenizes ownership in our Bitcoin mining operations in South America. But Momentum is separate. So separate, but part of the same brand. Momentum focuses on DeFi and tokens. And so what we've done is we've converted these brands, not converted, but added on where they're both Launchpads now. So we've launched many NFT projects through the AlphaShares Launchpad. Not recently, NFTs have been hard. Not many people have been launching new NFTs. It hasn't had the most demand. It will come back though, and the AlphaShares platform is fully set up and ready to start handling those Launchpad clients. Momentum just recently added the addition of the token and DeFi Launchpad. So Momentum specifically benefits from any protocol launching underneath it. So for Colossus, 5% of Colossus's protocol fees go right back to Momentum. And so it directly benefits people in the Momentum system. For the AlphaShare system, it's slightly different. It's going to be a little bit more auxiliary, where I do know, and this is something exciting, I guess I could just drop some alpha here now, there are NFTs being released for Colossus. They're actually going to be free NFTs that you can earn just by being within the community, holding some Colossus potentially. I like that little alpha line across the screen. Listen up, guys. But if you guys want to get an NFT, then you have to be a part of the community. You can get it for free just by engaging. We've got Drip in that Colossus Discord, which love the team behind Drip. They've put Drip in all of our Discords, and it's been a ton of fun. It's working great in Colossus. And so you can spend those points, which I believe are called runes in the Colossus Discord, to purchase these NFTs. Where are the NFTs going to reside? Well, of course, the AlphaShares marketplace. And so that's where, as trading activity occurs on these NFTs, even if it's a token project that launches under Momentum, a lot of projects like to integrate NFTs into their system. Those NFTs benefit our marketplace, and our marketplace benefits people that are part of AlphaShares. So we're trying to weave this big picture, this whole ecosystem that's kind of self-feeding. And I think it's working really well so far. A couple $1,000s have already been earned for the Momentum protocol, which is something that's also more alpha. We haven't really discussed that yet. I'm just dropping a little bean there. We will be making announcements soon.
Bring the ticker back
Momentum. And then we can't wait to see how these NFTs also go into play on the AlphaShares marketplace. So it's our way to be a launchpad, but also be a provider of these different platforms that these projects can use, and that benefits everyone that we've brought along with us for the past almost 3 years. I don't understand how it's been
Time
over
flies.
2.5
Having
years
fun.
now. It's makes no sense. Yeah.
Yep. Time flies when you're having fun. So we are crypto old men. Now
I know.
cynical old men. That's what my community keeps calling me because I'm cynical about all the crypto projects now.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yep.
Kevin is wanting to know what's the cost to get into this. So this is with crypto. So there's the 10% buy tag, but you just need some crypto. So if you're not familiar with crypto, you can go watch some of my other videos where I show you how you can get a wallet and you can get some funds from your bank into your wallet. But then you just trade this like a normal token, right? You just go buy it on Uniswap, or where all can you buy it?
Yeah, so it's on the base network. I probably should have opened that up to begin with.
Oh yes, that's
But the
right.
base network was picked by the team because at least what they told me was that there's about $1 billion TVL on base, which biggest for DeFi specifically. And that's the second biggest TVL out of any other chain. So you got Ethereum, which is always going to be the main chain for decentralized finance, yield farming, that type of thing. But Base came out and Aerodrome came out, and my understanding is that they're really leading the charge for DeFi on the Base protocol. And so because I know that for sure. Running a stabilized function every 60 seconds is going to cost a lot of money on Ethereum, but on Base it's cheap. And there's a lot of people interested in DeFi, so you just have to have some tokens on Base. It could be Ethereum or USDC, and you can use that to buy or to bond.
Okay, very good. And I sent a link to Uniswap if you want the direct link for the swap. And just in case you guys didn't know, Base is an L2 on Ethereum. So you're actually using the Ethereum blockchain. Well, we'll do another video on L2s, but you're using the same technology as Ethereum, but with lower costs, is essentially faster and lower costs. So these I love the Ethereum L2s, and it's hard to go wrong with those, in my opinion.
I
Let's
agree.
see. Sounds interesting. Does this sound like a reasonable strategy? Make an initial buy, take the proceeds, and bond those tokens.
That is something that people do. Another thing that people do is something called bond looping, which is where they will take their bond, and especially when there are certain events like this high yield bond, like I mentioned, you're avoiding the 10% buy tax and you're getting 10% more tokens, and they vest over 10 days, which 10 days times 1% per day is another 10% plus on your tokens in terms of value. And so you're going to end up after that bond with about 30% more than what you put in. And of course, there is a 15% sell tax. And so that sell tax is going to shave some off the top, which helps the protocol. But you're now having 15% gain. And a lot of people take that and flip it right back into a bond. And so I do think that is something that the developer behind this, which is our co-founder with AlphaShares, who launched all the tokenomics and all the smart contracts for this, I believe that a new compound, an auto compound, is going to come into play for bond looping. So if you have a bond and your bond fully vests, you can in one click pull the bond, sell your tokens, and rebond. And so that's what's called bond looping. And people were doing it manually before with this token and with Momentum. But I think that really doubles the profit that you can make. And so you can either do it through the proceeds, like Ken was saying, you can buy, earn USDC, bond that USDC. That's a great option. Or you can also bond, and the moment your bond completes, you spin it into a new one. And that's kind of also reminiscent of that 3-3, Olympus and Time, back in 2021 and 2022, people wanted to loop their rebase tokens and they wanted to continually compound them. And that's really reminiscent of that.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. ATX says, in my opinion, bonding is best route. You can still claim. So for ATX, there's going to be different strategies. That's the whole idea behind game theory, is that not everyone is going to do the same thing. And could be the type of thing. And maybe I'll do this. If you guys really want this, let me know in the comments. But, I love my spreadsheets. And you could put some pretty nice spreadsheets together, kind of showing in what scenarios, and that could help you make your decision. It's not going to matter that much. It's not going to be like a drastic. It's not like you're going to lose all your money if you do pick one, and you're going to make millions if you do the other. I mean, they're pretty similar. They're both kind of reliant on the protocol itself. But it's just fun. Okay. It's just fun to kind of figure it out. It's part of DeFi, part of what we love about DeFi. So,
yep. And I just saw from ATX here real quick. He just reminded me and corrected me a bit because I did forget about this, but that high yield bond is actually 15 days, not 10. So he just said that in his comment there, and thank you for reminding me about that. So with the high yield bond, you get an extra 10%, but it's over 15 days instead of 10. But regardless, those 15 days equal a 15% gain on the token as well. So it's really playing into this long-term strategy to be able to just let your tokens grow, either in the form of the price of the token, the dividends, or the bonuses. So there's like 3 ways that you can earn with the token. And of course, like you mentioned, game theory is all about you as a player. What do you think's best?
Yep,
there's no right answer.
Yep, absolutely. I'm sure there's tons of discussion in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, go hop in the Discord, because I'm sure there's discussions left and right about different strategies, what people are doing. I'll leave that link in the comments here too. So go hop in there. Let's see. Randy says 3 years in DeFi is like 30 human years. I would say maybe like 300. That's how I feel right now. I feel like I'm a 300 old man who's still alive, but in bad shape and hobbling along. That's how I feel. So Kevin says, I'm a crypto friend, James. Okay, yeah, absolutely, Kevin. So then you'll be good to go. So you just need to get some tokens on the Base network. And then you can buy there. Base is the place, Randy says. Oh, 2 people said it at the same time. Great minds think alike. So love that. Let's see. Coinbase is heavily investing on DeFi development on the Base chain, doing grants as well, using Coinbase Wallet to onboard everyday people, easier to decentralized finance. Yes. And I'm a little bit hesitant of new chains when they are independent. Because you just don't know, like that chain, like Phantom is kind of like, well, what's the deal with Phantom now? But the L2s that are on Ethereum, I don't see any risk there because, okay, there's some risk in everything. I shouldn't say that. But those L2s that are built on Ethereum are not nearly as risky as just these random chains that are spinning up with their own technology, their own blockchain. This is on the Ethereum blockchain, which is well established, running well. So yeah, very, very good. Where do we go if we want to do an initial bond? Let me bring up the website.
That's a great question. Well, actually, James, what you should do here is there's a referral program. And I think that for your community, you should probably give them your referral link. And so if you hit enter dashboard here, you might have to set it up.
It's too much pressure. Let me make sure I'm logged into my MetaMask and everything. Here, I'm going to do it on a separate screen just to make sure. I hate live demonstrations when they don't work.
I know, me too. But yeah, it's in there. Within the dashboard at the top, there's a referral section. And so under that referral section, you can go ahead. Oh, use Rabby Wallet. Interesting.
I do. I switched to Rabby and I love it. Absolutely love it.
So as you could just see on there, though, too, we've already paid out over $1,700 in USDC to people in just reflections. And so it's not the price of the token increasing. That's not, the bonds entering liquidity. It's simply just what you have from trading activity. And so there we go. There's your specific link. And so the way that works, just to explain to people also, is, guys, if you are here from James' community, you should, if you're entering for the first time, click on his link when he posts it and go and bond there. It does help out James. We love everything that James is doing with his platform, with his YouTube community, and how he educates people on these tokens. And so what it does is we actually forego a portion of treasury earnings from, well, I should say the team. I would like to say I'd love that money. But the team is foregoing the treasury earnings from the bond, and 5% is actually going to go to James as a referral bonus. And so it's something that he can, of course, I'm sure he's going to spend it right back into his branding, his community, and how he supports you guys. So support him. I'm sure he'll support you guys back. Click on that link. And whenever you bond, it doesn't matter if you click on it and then you go research it, you take until tomorrow. It basically creates a cookie on your web browser. So whenever you go to bond, we know you came from James, and he's going to get a bonus from that. So it doesn't cost you anything more, but it does benefit James here. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that. If I was a better YouTuber, I probably would have had my referral link generated and ready to go before the video started. But
I should have told you about that.
No, that's totally fine. So yeah, I posted that link. So yeah, appreciate if you guys get in there. As you can see, I just created the link. Let's see. Look how broke I am. I mean, look at that. So yeah,
$0,
go check out
man.
Colossus. $0. Let's see. Well, we great questions, audience. I have my own, but we'll go through your guys as you have better ones sometimes. Hey James, hey Tyler, this is the first time I'm seeing you in a shirt. Okay, now I do wear shirts every day in every video, but this is the first time I've worn a button up. I actually came from a funeral, so that's, and I just didn't have time to change. But yeah, if you guys like me dressing up a little bit for my videos, it's not comfortable, but I'll do it. I'll do it sometimes. So, and shout out to Tanvir, who's my thumbnail guy.
I was thinking about throwing on a collared shirt, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
now you're making me.
James won't be dressed up or anything.
Exactly, but now you're showing me up, man.
Hey, I think I don't know if these dots are weird on camera too. Like it messes with people's vision a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna take this off immediately after this video. So let's see. DeFi is a nice change of pace from the hyper volatility of the meme space. Yeah, absolutely. Meme space is, it's its own beast. Rabby is the best. Yeah, I do like Rabby. Best feature is it's connected to, you can see, it does a much better job of showing you everything that's in your wallet, even things that you have staked at different places and tokens you've lost in the past. I've found thousands of dollars just from using Rabby instead of MetaMask. Just like, oh, I forgot I had all those tokens from that project that are actually worth something still. And so love that. We got a lot of Rabby people in the audience.
Gotta check it out now. I mean, I've heard of it, and I think I used it one time, but the one that's annoying thing is if you have two wallets, unless you like turn off or inactivate one of the extensions, at least for me, you tell me if it happens to you, but when you go to a dApp, it's like trying to connect to multiple at a time, and it sometimes messes things up. So I stuck with just MetaMask, but might have to go to Rabby.
Well, yeah, Rabby has a feature, not to turn this into a Rabby AMA, but Rabby has a feature too where it can basically hijack MetaMask. So anytime you click connect to MetaMask, it connects to Rabby instead. And
wow.
So yeah, it's very good. So I like it a lot. Let's see. Randy says bonds 100%. So again, different strategies, different strokes for different folks. That's what they say. Tyler needs to get frosted tips to match James. There's an idea.
I used to have them. Dude, back in the early 2000s, I was rocking frosted tips, man.
Yeah, awesome. I think you'd look good. And you could frost your mustache tips, and that'd be just great.
Dude.
It'd be a great thing. I prefer to see James in comfy clothes. Pajamas next? Sure. I'll do my next video in my pajamas. There you go. Love the look. Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate it. Let's see. What's up with the free NFT promo, Mr. Mustache? So you talked a little bit about that. Do you want to mention that again?
Sure. Yeah. So the NFTs, what they do is they're going to give some extra benefits. You're going to get a special role where you will get access to, some alpha and some early calls and kind of become a bit of a focus group, if you will, where you're going to hear about things before the people that don't hold the NFTs. We got to make you feel special. But it also will do a couple other things. They are currently talking about, I don't want to spill too many beans just in case something didn't go through. I'm not the decision maker here, so I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but I think that there might be bonuses on your bonding when you have the NFT. Don't hold me to that because I don't want to get yelled at, but I do believe that that's something coming where you will get an extra bonus for your Colossus holdings and bonding by having the NFT. But it's also really a way for people to get active in the community, to brand out, to showcase that you're a part of Colossus. We want to give people PFPs. We do this with every project that we have under AlphaShares. We want you guys to represent the brand. And so I do think that the Colossus team has taken some inspiration there, has created a really kick-ass collection. Super, super cool, very well branded with their color scheme and kind of what their branding looks like. And so if you want to hold one of those, again, you can get it for free. I think you can only get one for free. And then if you want more, I think you're going to have to mint or purchase them. But if you are already a member and you're in the Discord, later today, or they might be already. Let me just make sure that I'm not going to get yelled at here. Okay, I'm not. And so that's where, if you're already a holder and you want one, stay tuned for the announcement to go out. You can get yourself one and you're going to get some benefits, but there's probably going to be more benefits than I'm even talking about here.
Okay, awesome. And for that one, I put maybe alpha, since we don't know for sure. That might be alpha for you guys. So appreciate that. All right, audience, keep the questions coming. I have my own questions, but yours are better, and we're here for you guys. Okay, me and Tyler could just have our own conversation, but we're here for you guys. But I was kind of wanting to know about the AI side of it. Okay, because that's, again, I love AI, love crypto. Can you talk about how AI is involved with this?
Perfect. Yeah, I'll talk about how it's involved with the current, version of the protocol, how it actually gets activated on the chart right now. And it also, though, that discussion leads into the future of this protocol. What's next? So obviously it's DeFi focused right now. We've talked about how the DeFi tokenomics work, how you can buy in, what it means. But there's so much more, as I mentioned. If you want something like this to stay long term, you have to bring in real value. And AI is a component of that too. But first, we'll talk about how it works with the current token in the chart. So the AI specifically is designed to maintain, well, it works with the LMS, the liquidity management system, and it's constantly monitoring the price. And so the price, as we've talked about, it's constrained. It wants to go up 1% per day, and it has a ceiling, or a floor rather, that's going up 1% per day, but it also has a ceiling that increases and changes. And so there's a spread that people get to actually purchase and sell within that spread, which gives people even further gamification because it's not locked at a specific price. It's locked at a specific floor price. But if a big buy comes in, the price will shoot up another $1 or $2 or $3. And you can capitalize on that if you are looking to sell and loop back in or whatever you were going to do. But the AI is constantly, bless you, by the way.
Thank you.
AI, of course, the AI is constantly monitoring the token, and it's working in communication with the liquidity management system to constantly stabilize the price when it needs to be stabilized. So it's watching out for big price increases. It's watching out for any decreases if somebody sells, and then it activates the LMS. There's also a health function in there, and this is more of the back end side for the team. And I know for John behind the development is you want to monitor things. You want to make sure that the protocol health is in a good state. You want to make sure that there's deep enough liquidity to constantly keep the trades going and keep the system working. And so there's a big AI component of that as well, which is fed assumptions, and then it's kind of learning based off what the chart's doing and knowing, hey, is it in a good spot? What changes might need to be made, so on and so forth. And it's really tools for the founder team and to understand what changes they might need to make. But the basis for the user is it's what really runs the price mechanism. And the last thing I forgot to mention, the one other thing, is that it does also operate a bot. So every other tax token before this token that we've ever launched and that we've ever seen, it collects taxes. And then the only way to sell those taxes is through a swap back function. So every other reflection token anyone's ever been in, taxes are collected, and then specifically a sell on the chart from a regular user executes what's called a swap back function. Basically, that function takes taxed tokens collected from the taxes, and it dumps them also. And it sells them to convert them into stablecoin and provide those rewards. But it's hard on the chart. It only activates after a sell. So someone could sell $1,000 and then the swap back for taxes sells another $1,000, and it looks bad. And so the AI system here with this bot, or with this token, is a bot as well. And that bot is actually what collects the taxes, and it knows based off chart activity, specifically buys, when it should sell those tax tokens to provide those dividends. So the USDC everyone's earning too, it's being sold and basically pulled out of the Colossus token by this AI bot and distributed to the holders.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Awesome.
Really, really
Yeah,
cool
that is
mechanism.
very
There's
cool.
nothing else
I
like
love
it.
that. Yeah, I love that. And I love seeing just, the different things that people come up with. That's one of my favorite things about tech, is just seeing the creativity. So love that. A couple other questions that I had. So when DeFi was back in the good old days, we'll call them, one of the fears that we always had is, hey, what's going to happen in a severe bear market if just new people aren't coming in, and what happens to these protocols? So we're not at the height of a bull market like we were, when we used to be in DeFi, but still kind of have that same question. What happens if crypto, we'll say the elections in the US go a certain way and crypto is just down, and how does that affect Colossus and what they're doing?
Yeah, Perfect. Good question. And I think that there's two answers here. The first answer is the most simple one, which is I think timing of the market is also really important. And we do really think, and so does the team behind Colossus, thinks that September is going to be an amazing month for cryptocurrency. We do think that by the end of this year, especially due to economic uncertainty with the United States election going on, we do think that Bitcoin's going to hit those new all-time highs, 100K in the very near future. What's that going to do? Well, that's going to bring a lot more liquidity back to the market, a lot of new people back to the market. And so that really does help with the longevity of any type of DeFi protocol. But of course, let's say that doesn't happen. We can't stay dependent on that. So there's a couple ways. The biggest way for Colossus is that it's actually introducing bots as a service. So what is that? Well, we just talked about one of the bots. One of those bots is utilizing AI technology to operate on the current Colossus token. And that bot is actually something that we developed under the AlphaShares brand. And that bot is something that is some alpha for people here too, is currently operating on a number of tokens. But we have learned so much, at least our developer, really, he's the wizard behind this. He has learned so much about bot development. And so we're going to be partnering for sure, Alpha. I love that. We're going to be partnering up with Colossus here in the very, very near future to actually have Colossus be a mode of currency to subscribe to different bots that will be released under the AlphaShares brand, as well as likely under the Colossus brand. So Colossus and their team, they're investing into these bots as well. That's where really 100% of the treasury rewards are going, is investing into these of them. Everyone's probably heard of sniper bots, going in Telegram, wanting to snipe into that new launch. Well, you now use a bot for that. You make it so that you can forego the manual efforts, snipe into the token with a bot. So that's going to be one. We also have market making bots under development, MEV bots, which we all know about Jared from Subway. That dude just last month or a couple weeks ago, in 2 months, he turned $1,200 into 6.5 million with his MEV bot. And so a lot of people might know MEV bot under the name of a sandwich bot. If you're ever looking at a big chart, one of those really active, high market cap, high volume tokens, you'll see like 3 transactions come in at once: a big buy, a normal buy, and then a sell that capitalizes on that buy in the middle. And that's what's called a sandwich attack. And I don't really like saying the word attack because it's really kind of unique technology that really gets to kind of play off of other people's purchases and capitalize on their slippage, their gain on the token chart. But regardless, these bot services can make a ton of money. We're releasing them under AlphaShares because it's going to be a component of our DeFi arm Momentum, as well as under AlphaShares, creating future bots for NFTs as well. But Colossus, how does it benefit Colossus? Well, we're going to be partnering with Colossus, where Colossus tokens will likely be used. And again, this is alpha. This is not released. This is stuff that I'm telling you what the roadmap's looking like now. Again, we are the Launchpad, so we know quite a bit from the team, but I don't want to spill too many beans. I don't want them to slice my throat while I'm sleeping tonight, okay? So I'm going to tell you this and keep it tentative until you hear the real official announcement go out. But the Colossus token is likely to be used as the mode of subscribing to these bots. So there are going to be a lot of retail bot services where if you want access to them, instead of the bot taking a cut of your trades, you will actually be able to subscribe, earn 100% or close to on your trades. And the way you get access is by using and spending the Colossus token. Well, why is that so cool? The Colossus token keeps going up in price. And so what this does is motivates people. The sooner you get your Colossus tokens, the cheaper the subscription will be for you guys. And so this is the way that the value will get locked in the Colossus token, though. If people are buying Colossus tokens currently at $112, and then they're spending them on the bots, well, that means that you're locking liquidity into the protocol. And that's what is necessary to keep this 1% per day going on until the indefinite future. If we can continue to have people purchase the token to subscribe to the bots that we release, well, it benefits the Colossus ecosystem and their team. They get a percentage of what those Colossus tokens get spent on, and as well as the bot services. And then, well, the person who subscribed, they get their bot to use. So it's real value. You need a real business. You need real value where people are willing to spend their money in return for something, which is these services to utilize these bots. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And if you have any questions about it, let me know. But that's really where the sustainability factor for this protocol comes into play.
Okay. No, actually, that's perfect. My next question was, what future features are there? And so kind of talking about that, teasing a little bit. Do you, and if you don't know, that's totally fine. But what should people think about the timeline on some of these things? I'm always a little hesitant with, oh, in the future, we're going to do, this and this and this and this. And then it's like, well, okay, when is that? How should somebody think about like the timeline on getting some utility into Colossus?
Great question. And so where, this is where we really do have a really good idea about this, because we're working directly with the Colossus team to develop these bots and then to work with them for people to use the Colossus token to subscribe. So we have a good idea of where those are at. The good thing about this conversation is that one of those bots is already released, and it's actually already on a handful, almost a dozen tokens, and it's doing really well. It's a bit more of a business to business bot. Don't want to go into the details yet of what that is, but it's a bot service that we have now released for about 2 months, and it's been under test phase and kind of proof of concept and see if it's working. And it has worked. It's been profitable. It's been working for the clients. And so this really proved that the capabilities of our development team, specifically our co-founder and lead developer, John, he knows how to build these things and he knows how to build them rapidly. So right now they're under development. I don't want to give too much information of when they're going to be released, but very soon. I mean, this is something that's a goal that, well before the end of this year, which we're almost in the third quarter of 2024. And that's when they will be released in the fourth quarter. That's, I think, the most that I can say until we get a little further along. But we will have more updates coming soon as we push those developments out and they're ready for people to spend Colossus tokens on them. We'll announce it, but it is coming soon. And that's the true utility, because if these bot services and the amount of activity for people buying the Colossus token to spend on these subscriptions, if that goes through the roof, the Colossus token is going to be an immense store of value. Where people always called Olympus DAO back in the day, it was always like, oh, it's a reserve currency with a treasury backed with assets. What assets? Like, they crashed because they didn't actually buy anything. They had like $1 billion treasury and they never activated it. But Colossus really can become a reserve currency backed by a real business model. And that business model is going to be bots as a service. So super, super exciting stuff. I mean, I think that once this gets really published, which it's not, like, this is so much alpha that we're sharing on the space, but I love it. This is like where I love to share it. Once this gets published, though, Medium articles going out, AlphaShares and Momentum really having a lot more direct publication efforts with Colossus. I think that's really when this is going to take off. And so everybody listening here, you guys are extremely early.
Okay. Love that. Love that. Good stuff. I love alpha. I'll take as much of it as I can get. So, okay, here's a question I had for you. How did you guys do your community building? Because even now I'm getting bombarded, even like Twitter messages from people. Thank you so much for bringing Colossus on here. Like, how did you do this? This doesn't usually happen when I do, especially with new projects. Like sometimes this, if I bring on like a long established project like AVAX, then I get this type of stuff. But this is a brand new project and I don't see people as crazed. What did you guys do community building wise? I just want to know so I can give this advice to other projects that are trying to launch.
Man, I mean, for one, I want to just give a thank you to the community, because we don't know if efforts that we were working so closely with the Colossus team, and we're really imparting a lot of what we've learned with AlphaShares, with Momentum, with the communities that we've built, what worked, what didn't. But you never know if it's going to actually work in the same way. And so this right here is a testament to it's working, and we're really, really happy about that. And so really, to give you the answer on why is a big shout out to the team. Randy down in the audience, our co-founder, one of our co-founders, is incredible at marketing and community growth, at pushing things out and finding people that are interested in an opportunity. We luckily have an incredible sphere of influence with AlphaShares. And so we've been very upfront about our relationship with Colossus and pushing it because we think it's a genuine product. There are going to be tokens that launch under our Launchpad that, are a little bit more memey, a little bit more fun, more Ponzi, more risky. We're not going to be as close with them, but this is one that we really see incredible amount of value with what the future holds. So we've been like super upfront about it. And we've been telling everybody, hey, check out Colossus. I've been on AMAs. The founder of Colossus, Carrion, that dude, I swear to God, is on like 8 hours of X spaces every day. Like, I don't understand how he does it. And so I think it's just a testament of the activity, the sheer activity level the team's putting in and building something new. That's the other benefit of Colossus. It's a brand new protocol. There's nothing like it. And I think people want that new. So that's, I think, what it comes down to. It's hard to put a finger on it, man, but I love that it's happening because it shows that it's working.
Yep, absolutely. And two things I'll say about it is shout out to you and your team, because to be in this space for 3 years and still your community likes you is that's a unique thing. Most communities, most projects that have been around for 3 years, their community doesn't like them. Because they're mad, because just of the way the space is. So shout out to you guys. And then for you in the audience, by the way, you guys being so supportive does really help the protocol, because I get pitched so many crypto projects and I'm very hesitant about them, just because of what we've seen happen in the past. But when I get just constant messages from people saying, you need to talk about Colossus, you need to talk about Colossus, that affects influencers and that affects people. And they're like, okay, we need to check this out. I mean, even if we don't like it, which I didn't know getting into it, I'm like, I don't know if this is something I'm going to be that interested in. But the fact that so many people are interested in it is like, I should at least take a look at it, and see what's going on there. So shout out to you guys. And if any project founders are watching, go to Alpha and their Launchpad, talk with them to figure out how to build your community in a strong way. So,
oh yeah, and thank you for that too. And I will give a call to action there too. If you guys want to launch something, you can tell we're having a ton of fun here. We want to have a ton of fun with more people. We are a business. We're a Launchpad. We've got a Launchpad. We've got a Launchpad. We've got a Launchpad. We've got or ever on the fence of thinking, I kind of want to launch a token. I want to launch an NFT project. We'll be your resource. We can do it full service from start to finish. And I think that this is a perfect case study to capitalize on. Look at how well it's working for Colossus. If you guys want the same thing, come to us.
Okay, love that. Awesome. We're approaching an hour, so I think we will wrap up. Maybe my last question for you. Where do you see this all going? So let's fast forward. I always like to do this. Let's envision the future. Let's fast forward 5 years. Okay, we're 500 crypto years into the future. All right. Where do you kind of see this all going? Like, what's the end vision? Where do you kind of hope this ends up if everything goes according to plan?
The 5-year outlook is really difficult with these types of things, but
oh yeah,
I mean, because even when I think about it, creating this real business model with the bots as a service, a real service industry, right? That's something that we have been putting so much emphasis on recently. We've got, the Alpha Studio providing studio services. We've got these bots as a service that we're currently going business to business on. And Colossus is kind of the accelerator program to get the development for these bots happening even more quickly. And then you'll be able to spend your Colossus tokens on these bots. And these bots, this is the hard part. The business is dependent on how successful these bot services can be. If we're looking at case studies of other bot services, whether it's sniper bots, people using in Telegram, or an MEV bot like Jared from Subway, turning $1,200 into $6.5 million in 2 months, I don't want to assume that we're going to do the same thing. But if we can get even anywhere near that, there's a lot of money on the table. It's going to really help the longevity of our brand. It's going to increase, if not like indefinitely expand the longevity of the Colossus token. And it's then dependent on how do we iterate on those bots. So the space, the Web3 space changes so rapidly that we're going to have, in the next 5 years, we're going to have new decentralized exchanges. Maybe DEXs like Uniswap won't even be a thing anymore. Maybe bots won't work. So we're going to constantly determine where's the market headed? What can we do to pivot to capitalize on this from a service standpoint? And that's a big deal for us, is how can we leverage what we've built as infrastructure and development to provide a service? Because that's the hardest part about any crypto token. And you see the biggest brands like Pudgy Penguins, they went product route, right? They went and they developed IP around their brand by creating products and having it sold in stores. We're going the service route, and we want to be able to create real valuable services that people will pay for. And that's actual value. And that's such a hard thing for crypto projects to do. And so in 5 years, where I hope we are is we're creating an incredible amount of value, and we have a huge suite of products and services because we're a brand that wants to be here forever. And we're already here, like you said, for almost 3 years. And if we're here for another 5, that's 8. Like we're like centennials at that point. We're like 1,000 years old. But I do hope that it results in just incredible longevity and growth for time to come. But this, I think, the last thing I'll add on there is because we've been around for 3 years, and like you said, our community doesn't hate us yet. I think it really comes down to our ability to constantly pivot, remain flexible, and be extremely transparent. And if we keep those 3 pillars upheld for the next 5 years, there's no reason we won't be here. So that's all I've got for that.
Okay. Awesome. You know what? That was inspiring, Tyler. I love that. And the mustache adds like a leadership aspect to it. So that's amazing.
Yes.
Inspiring. All right. Well, hey, we will wrap up there. Guys, calls to action. You heard them all here from Tyler. I've got this link that you can go to. And again, you can buy the token off of Uniswap, which that link is in the description as well. Or you can go here and bond. If you don't know what that is, go back, watch this video. As soon as I'm done here, watch it on 2x speed. You'll learn all about it. But yeah, and hop into the Discord. Again, if you're on the fence and you're like, I want to know more about this, it doesn't make total sense, hop into Discord. The community, I guarantee you, based on what has been happening to me the last couple days, I guarantee you the community would love to talk to you about Colossus and strategy and help you. I'm sure that they would not hesitate. So thank you, audience. You guys are amazing. Tyler. Yes.
A bond just came in, and I was just curious. If you want to refresh your dashboard, let's see if it came through your link.
Oh, let's see. Moment of truth. Was it from me? Nope.
Oh, it was dang it.
Someone forgot to use. You know what? They probably went in incognito mode just to make sure I didn't get any credit, because they love Colossus so much. They want you guys to get all the credit. So yeah, Viper,
James,
hop into the Discord, guys. Yep. That's a great call to action. So Tyler, thanks for hopping on, man. Always a pleasure. Always happy to have you back. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, James. You too. Always a pleasure being here. I'm sure this is not going to be our last, or even second to last, dude. You got to stay here too. You're one of the most quality, purveyors and reviewers of projects. And so I think that what you're doing is incredibly valuable. We all know this space is full of a lot of fun, sometimes risk, sometimes profit, and you really cover it all. And so some people might not like that, but we always enjoy being across your stage. And the fact that you've also been a very successful YouTuber for 2.5, 3 years also in the crypto space, and people don't hate you, you're doing something right too. So I got to give kudos where they're due. And thank you, James, for everything you do.
Thanks, Tyler. We'll hit 1,000 in crypto years together. Okay. That's our goal. We're getting there. We're getting there. So thank you, everyone. God bless you all, and have a great weekend. Talk to you later.
Bye.